Yeah, great. So, yeah, 2020-21 has also been a strange year for the Community Zone Management Group. We had quite a quiet end of 2020, and things have picked up now in 2021. And the majority of this presentation is going to be covering what we've been doing this year in 21. Oh, yeah, so here's an overview of what we're going to be covering. So we've had quite a few membership changes, but we were also looking to expand. There's been a few staff departing, and also the group's remit has changed significantly over the years. The charge we had dated back to 2014, when it was called the Community Zone Working Group. And we always had ambitions to update the charge, but it's only this last quarter that we've managed to get it done, and we're covering that in a subsequent slide. We're also working on updating the Community Zone contributor guidelines and documentation. These again are quite outdated set of documents, and our ambitions to update them sooner weren't realised, but we're now actively discussing how we're going to approach that work and what we want to change. Combined with that is the development of additional training for community zone contributors. We recognise that there's a need for additional training, and in preliminary discussions on what kind of training we might be able to deliver. And also, Jane and I regularly engage with the EPUG community, but there isn't a broader community zone management group engagement strategy or communication strategy for that matter. So we're going to be working a lot more on that this year. So the community zone management group members in 2021 are myself, Jane Daniels from Cardiff Met, Tim Kaneshiro from the Getty Research Institute, Stacey Magadans, who's from the California State University. She's also our liaison member on the Content Working Group. We have Steve Shadle, University of Washington, and Stacey Trail, University of Minnesota. And she is has now stepped up to be the ALMA Product Working Group liaison member on the CZMG. Oops. Sorry, Mike. So we also have 3 ex libris company membership on the Community Zone Management Group. So we have Ryle Elstein, who's the Content Product Manager at ex libris. We also have Amots and Dahlia, who are librarians in Ryle's team. So the members that are departed, so we've bid farewell to our chair, who was Ebe Cartus from the Australian Catholic University. Also Betsy Friesen, the outgoing ALMA Product Working Group Coordinator, and Lachlan and Uni have also departed. I've subsequently taken on the chair role for the management group, and yeah, and looking to rejuvenate it. So we do align with other groups. We have the Community Zone Management Group, liaison with the Content Working Group and the ALMA Product Working Group, as I've just mentioned. It's also worth just mentioning that we function under the auspices of the ALMA Product Working Group in collaboration with the ex libris staff. So we're a kind of subgroup to that product working group. So yeah, we've been looking to establish a new foundation. Well, the Community Zone Working Group first began in 2015 and kind of fizzled out in 2016. We were reconvened as the CZMG in 2017, and last year was difficult for us in that staff were adapting to new ways of working from home, etc., with the pandemic, and a number of the key leaders in the group, such as Betsy and Eve, were departing. So we had to rejuvenate the group, and we've set a new meeting frequency. So we're meeting twice a month, and that kind of aligns with the content working group meeting schedule, so that we're able to feed between the two groups a lot more efficiently, and we're not always waiting for quite irregular meetings that are difficult to schedule. So we've refreshed our charge, as I mentioned, and we're hoping to start working with task and finish groups, so we can broaden our insight and deliver more meaningful change. And in addition to that, we're looking at the communications and documentation. So the task and finish groups, we're hoping to establish very soon. We're in the process of defining what pieces of work that they can accomplish, and the requirements for membership. So we've confirmed with the ALMA product working group that institution membership of Illuna and Igloo aren't going to be a requirement for involvement in task and finish group activities. So that's in difference to the Community Zone Management Group members who need that affiliation at their institution level. We've set that there should be no prescribed limit to the number of task and finish groups or the number of individuals in each group, and the groups will be administrated and managed by the CZMG main group. So yeah, that leads me to a new members call. Please do contact Jane or myself to discuss what membership entails. We're going to be putting a call out to the ALMA list for expressions of interest in May 2021, so this month, and we're discussing the possibility of hosting an annual meeting open to observers, so that you can get a flavour of the kind of work that goes on in the group. So we're going to be looking for 4 new members, but we also have Jane and Stacey Magadans from University of San Bernardino departing later in the year. So we have scope for an additional 6 members of the main CZMG. But if you can't commit to a full membership, then by all means, express an interest in the task and finish group. So our new charge, we're hoping to get this online very soon so people can view it. If you'd like to get a copy in advance of that, then feel free to email myself. It's been a long time coming. Our previous chair had drafted some revisions, but they were lost, and we started from scratch this year, and our final draft was agreed by Ex Libris and the ALMA product working group this year. So some of the changes that have occurred are the emergence of the provider zone, local extensions to community zone records, all manner of other developments that happened that were absent from the initial charge. So that's some of the key aspects of the change, and I kind of invite you all to put into chat if there's any other changes you'd like, or if there's any priorities here that you want us as UK and Ireland representatives to bring forward. So we have the gathering, interpreting and communicating the needs of users as central to our change in charge. We have developing and delivering training and advocacy for best practices. And another fairly critical one in that it impacts confidence in the community zone is the prevention of automated record overwrites and record merges, which degrade the CZ data after community edits. I'm aware that's going to be a very challenging piece of work, and it will require a lot of collaboration with Ex Libris to achieve that, if at all it's possible. But it's something we want to aim to achieve. Another a key aspect of change is working on how we engage with content providers and publishers further upstream, so that we get fuller and better quality metadata delivered in a timely manner. This is in addition to all of the efforts that the Content Working Group do, Ex Libris themselves undertake. But as a community zone management group, we feel that we have a role to play in part of that process. We're also looking to advocate stronger an adherence to standards with content providers and industry bodies and others throughout the supply chain. And part of that will be facilitating communication channels with ALMA users and between users and Ex Libris. So yeah, it's quite an ambitious change schedule that we've put in place. So speaking of our openness and transparency, we want to establish an online presence on the Igloo and Aluna websites. We're currently in communications with some of the members of the group to secure access to the web editing interface. So it's been absent for 6 years, and we're urgently seeking to address that missing element on those platforms. Updating the contributor guideline documentation. As I've mentioned, it kind of urgently needs replacing, we've discussed updating it, but we're thinking about maybe replacing it in its entirety. It has aged quite significantly. We're also looking to interlink with other related topics, such as the merge routine, such as provider zone standards, local extension documentation, so that the people working in the community zone have an easy access toolkit almost to the content they need to guide them in their work. Okay, so this is quoting the ALMA, the community zone from the Knowledge Centre. So one of ALMA's greatest assets is its user community, and as such, Ex Libris has been working to create more options to allow you to play an active role and collaborate in the community zone, employing the wisdom of a broad base of from a broad base benefits all ALMA users. So the underlying principles of the community zone remain unchanged. It is open to all of us to use and to contribute to, and draw the benefits from that shared expertise. Another aspect of the community zone management group's work is to have members monitor the issues relating to the community zone that are raised on ALMA list and indeed within their own institutions, and bring those forward onto the agenda of our meetings. So we have an example here of the EBSCO matching, and our colleague from University of Minnesota raised this, and we've begun tackling that gnarly issue. There's often not a single cause of issue. There's multiple things that impact a community zone collection, and we're working collaboratively to understand them and resolve them. On that basis, we had an expert from Ex Libris present to us in our meeting yesterday on the matching criteria and algorithms, and we're going to be following that forward into a more in-depth analysis and how we might be able to work with some of these content providers and Ex Libris to bring about beneficial change. So yeah, we have also worked on the brief level record definitions. So these were revised and reassigned in November 2020. We do have some concerns remaining as CZMG members about some of the definitions, particularly in relation to the ISSN, where a serial record can be assigned a level 9, which is quite high, even though it has no EISSN, and taking into account the key value of the ISSN in ALMA as a community zone as a part of the link resolution. We're going to be sending out a survey very soon on how the community edit, add and delete fields in community zone records. We want to understand how you work with community zone metadata, but also consider the system requirements for link resolution. So I'll be working with Stacey Trail from the University of Minnesota to draft that survey this afternoon, in fact. And yeah, please do engage with it, as we need your input to inform the work we do. And finally, here's my contact details and those of Jane. So yeah, I hope you found that useful. And just to reiterate, we really value community members putting themselves forward in joining us in the work we do. So that's me coming to an end of my show.
Thanks so much, Leon and Jane, and perfectly on time as usual. I'm just going to invite questions from people. I'm not sure we have any yet, but please do jump in if you have them. Somebody's typing. Yeah, Esther, thanks so much. And I will back this up. Esther from Leicester, we have to call her that, is her actual name, says thank you so much for the important work on the community zone group. And I think all of the UK people who have had dealings with content in the past say the same. It's a big job. So thanks so much for doing it.
Yeah, I think there's definite areas of improvement we could do on the base camp. We set it up and we haven't really got going very quickly on that, and I think it's really important to get the community feedback from Basecamp. And yeah, I put my hand up. I didn't really get enough done there myself, but yeah.
I think I think you did a heck of a lot, and I think we're all really busy and have been even more busy in lockdown than we ever were before. So no.
Is there anything you'd like to input, Jane?
No, I'd just like to thank you, Galen, as usual, for doing all the work in putting the presentation together. But the one very quick thing I would say is if, again, a plea to the UK community to step up and put yourselves forward to become a member of the Community Zone Management Group. It is important. Metadata knows no boundaries. There's lots going on in the metadata world. You've got the work that OCLC are doing on linked data. You've got Plan M here in the UK. And you've got the NISO Open Discovery Initiative, all of which can be applied to the heady work of e-resources. So please do bear all of these sort of international initiatives in mind, if you like, and try and step up and become part either of the group, or as Galen said, there will be task and finish groups, discrete project work that you can be involved with. Please, please do consider how you can apply your expertise on behalf of us all. So that's really all I wanted to say. Thanks.